There we go. Hey guys, good morning. 40 Grit here, 40 Grit Guitars. I was sitting here this morning, got up kind of early, had a cup of coffee, and we're just kind of sitting here going, maybe I'll go live. I don't got to be at work for a couple hours, so I figured I'd jump on. As I was streaming through YouTube, doing my usual YouTube runs, I stumbled across the Music Zoo D Martini interview. Watch that again. Some really cool stuff in that. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch the Music Zoo I think it was 7 years ago. I actually looked at it this morning to see it was 7 years ago that was recorded. He had all of his cool he had the bomber guitar there, the Skull and Blood, the Hallmark guitar, the Frenchie, and he was playing the cross swords. So if you haven't had a chance to watch the Music Zoo D Martini, awesome interview. Also, just wanted to jump on, see if I could get some people in, just chat, talk about guitar stuff, because like I said, I ain't got much going on for the next couple hours. So I figured I'd jump in and see what you guys are doing. So let's see who's Greasy Monkey said that he was first in the chat. And let's see here. Ronnie Parker has joined me. What's up, Ronnie? How's it going? Hey, I saw lots of interaction on the Skull and Blood videos. So I had a friend of me, a friend of mine. Some people were saying that the blood on the performance, it didn't look that great, you know. But I had a friend of mine text me last night and say pulled the Round and Round video out, and he said, "Hey, look at the blood on Warren's Skull and Blood." And the blood's not as it's not as standoutish as on the Charvels. So I think that there may be something to that. I don't know. I'm not trying to justify anything on the performance. Either way, someone had asked me, that's I'm sure that guitar is faded. I'm sure of it because those were done in 2008, shortly before that run of 20 from Performance was done in 2008, prior to Warren's signing with Charvel when he did his signature series. So, that being said, I'm sure that guitar is faded a little bit. The bomber guitars is yellowing, so that used to be a bright white, and that guitar is yellowing out a little bit. So again, you got to cut that guitar some slack, because it's what, 18 plus 7, 15 years. I mean, that's been sitting around in a case as much as I've kept it in his case. I'm sure it's been out of the case for a while when it was at Performance. But that being said, that guitar was built in 2008. So cool. Metal Cop came out and said that the neck on the Skull and Blood, the pointed headstock, was a prop neck. I had never heard that story before, so hats off to the Metal Cop. He said we got 5 inches of wet snow here this morning, envious of the Arizona weather. It's supposed to be 100 degrees today, high at 99. So we're back in it. I went out in the garage and winterized, summarized my garage. Took all my tuners and everything out of the garage, and the stuff that I don't like having out there. But I'm summarized in the garage. Kind of a bummer. I bought those 2 guitar necks thinking I was going to have some more time to do a build or something, because every winter I've done a build, and I didn't do a build this winter, really. I just thought about that. It kind of sucks. I usually do a build to celebrate the winter is here and I can go out and mess around in the garage again. So, but that being said, 100 degrees here today supposedly, and I got to work anyway, so I won't be out in it. I'll be in the meat locker of a dealership that I work in. So, let's see who else. Gregory Miller, welcome, man. Morning 40 Grit, love the channel and your videos. Appreciate that. I have been I did the live the other night, and then like I said, I had woke up the next morning, and my better half was going to work, and I said, I think I'm going to shoot a video today. I got so inspired by the whole. I'm not sure if you guys feel the same way. I mean, this is a very small niche community, of us goofballs that, the guitar stuff. We chase the guitar stuff, and it's a very small community. But I'm not sure if you guys felt the same way that I did when I saw Warren again. But I felt like I went back to it's been missing, just like Edward's missing. We're not going to get Edward back, but there was a part missing of the enjoyment of the music. And as soon as I saw D Martini back on stage, it all came back extremely strong for me. So I'm not sure if you guys feel the same. I'm constantly chasing all the D Martini stuff right now. Everything in my phone is D Martini, and I just can't. I can't wait to. I saw another show in August, I think in Minnesota. So that means that they're going after stuff right now. They're going after and scheduling, which is cool. So hopefully they make their way. I think there's a LA show, but I think it's like a meet and greet. I don't think it's a show. I think it's a meet and greet with Stephen Piercy. So I'm gonna check into that a little bit. It's in June, I think. So maybe if it is a show, I might go out and try to catch that, because I would like to see Warren jam out a little bit. It'd be cool to see that live. I'm anxiously awaiting the newer shows, because I want to see what guitars he's going to break out. Could be a problem now with the Charvel and the performance thing. I know that it appears, I don't know Warren personally, but it appears that Warren really liked that. The entire Jizzy Pearl tour, Warren played the Bugs Bunny guitar, and he played the Snakeskin. Those were the two guitars that he favored on that run. And I know that he favors that Snakeskin, so it'll be interesting to see if the performance Snakeskin makes its debut. I would love to see that, and that would be really cool to see the Snakeskin. So hopefully we can get that question out to John on Tuesday, and see if they're going to plan on throwing that guitar in the mix. That would be. I just want to see that guitar. I'm stupid like that. I like seeing like certain guitars, just as much as I enjoy seeing the artist. They're all tools in his toolbox that he's able to pull out. So hopefully we get to see the performance. Watched Best of the video, Best of Me this morning, and he's got the for the solo, he breaks out the Snakeskin, and then I watched Eat Me Up Alive. There's a video for that, and Carlos plays a lead in that, which I remembered. It just sparked me in the video when I was watching. I was going, oh, that's right. Yeah, he takes a lead on that, because he pretty much had that song, like I said the other night, in his back pocket when they started recording that. So yeah, that's my typical Saturday morning. Wake up, and if I'm not opening, I'll get up and watch YouTube for a couple hours and just blast through stuff I've watched a million times already. So hey, yeah, Greg and Miller, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Good morning to you, sir. And I'm glad that you're loving the channel and the videos. Oh, but I get sidetracked so easily. So she said, I said, I think I'm going to shoot a video, or she said you should shoot a video, something like that. So I went out there and put those Snakeskin or those Skull and Bloods out there and did the video on them. Man, I'm shocked by how great the performance sounded. But it's probably the Alnico 5. I gravitate more towards the Alnico 5 than Alnico 2. That's just, everybody's ears different, and we all have different tastes. But I do love the RTM. The RTM's a great pickup, and I gravitate to that, and I gravitate to all the Alnico 5 stuff. I was just playing the Wolfgang this morning. God, that guitar plays so great, and I got that for $800 off the Guitar Center website. I couldn't figure out what was what the problem was with it. I said, well, there's something wrong with it, but I can probably fix it. And I did a video on it. I think I did a live with it, and I pull out the tone knob and I put the kill switch in it, and I was playing it this morning. The rolled edges on that guitar are fantastic. It's just a great feeling guitar. R2 is a little tight, side to side, but it's bearable, and it just plays really good. But we were talking about pickups, and that has the Andy Timmons in it. It came with the Andy Timmons. Whoever had that guitar, I think I talked about it on the live. I gutted it because it sounded terrible, and I rewired everything, and I found a cut lead wire from the toggle to the pickup. It was cut in half, so that you have half your output gone. That's why it sounded like crap. So I went ahead and rewired everything. It just sounds so good. But that Andy Timmons is an Alnico 5 as well, and that's a great pickup. So someone asked me the other night what my favorite Van Halen pickup was, and I said it was a Tone Zone. But then Randy Price came in and said, that AT1 is good too, and it is. It's fantastic. I played this morning and noodled on that guitar for a little while, and that's a great playing guitar. So, but yeah, I shot the Skull and Blood videos, and I was very happy, and I felt at home with the Skull and Blood performance. I did put it away, put it back in the case, and put it back in the safe slash closet here, and to be seen another day. But you know, that's good guitar. So. Mr. Mick, thanks for being here, man. Hi, 40. Thanks again for your email on blocking my tremolo. I went and bought the Charvel Pro Mod Relic, and weathered right after I saw yours the other night. Oh, awesome, man. Yeah. Hold on. You're talking about this one, right? I mean, it's fantastic. I did nothing to this guitar other than freeze it. I took it all apart, took all the parts off it, stuck it in the freezer for a couple days, and I got some really nice checking out of it. And I should do a video on this one. Got some nice checking on the front, believable checking, not done with a razor blade, just like real life checking. I threw it in the freezer and then put it back together. Somebody, speaking of blocking, somebody told me about an angle like blocking thing. Well, I mean, and again, I understand that some people don't have like a belt sander or something. Sometimes you just have to do what you got, which I understand. But the one thing I did see on that is now not only you're putting 2 screws in the back of your spring cavity, you're putting 4 screws in it. And again, the best, in my opinion, and everybody's entitled to that. The best is going to be the wood block. You can see my wood block in there. The wood block, in my opinion, is going to be the best because you're going wood to wood. It's not metal, and you're going wood to wood off the brass block or off the steel block, whatever block you have in there, and it's a direct transfer to the body. So I'm just saying, in my opinion, your best is going to be that. You can see that block really good now. Put the block in there. I measure it out, make sure it's just perfect, contact in all areas, and that's your best. And I think they wanted $75 for that thing. So I mean, that cost me what? Nothing, because it's a scrap alder that I pulled out of the alder or scrap bin at Bill Zola's shop in probably 1999 or something. I just had tons of scrap alder out there that I used for the block. So that's really cool, man, Mr. Mick. I think it's cool that you went and bought the Charvel Pro Mod Relic and weathered right after Sawyer's. It is an awesome guitar, and thanks to the chat talked me into leaving it alone, so I have decided to leave it alone. I did swap out the pickups. They're direct mount, so you can fix that. I should do a video on that, fixing the direct mount dog ears on the pickup to where you can fix that and make it. You just go buy some little nuts up at Home Depot and just solder them on, and then you're back in business again. So I could do a video on that too. I've done that a couple times. I got some pickups in there that were direct mount that I pulled out, and maybe I'll fix those because they do weather those pickups and they look kind of cool. Maybe I'll end up putting them in something. Swapped out the bridge to a Floyd Rose original chrome. Randy Price and I agreed that the chrome looked good with the DiMarzio pickups. And that's a DiMarzio SSH, or no, the DiMarzio Tone Zone and the DiMarzio neck pickup, which I like, the Air Norton. So Air Norton, low friction pot. I might swap this out for DiMarzio. That's a little loose for me now. I'm starting to get acclimated to these DiMarzio pots. And the one thing I always do on the Charvel is I swap out the 3-way switch. 3-way switch is those 3-way switches, they're very temperamental. And if you do want to leave it in there, just spray it with some contact cleaner, and that'll probably help you for a while. Because I if the guitar sits for a while and I go to throw over, it's like it doesn't respond. So never had a problem with the switchcrafts. I swap out the three ways immediately and go to the three-way switch. So she's all intonated. Put a black D tuner on it, and the string alignment is perfect. The neck feels really good on this guitar. I'm just not a rosewood guy, but I'm gonna leave it because it looks cool. And the springs on the back are the OG Floyds. I go back and forth on the OG Floyds from OG to black because the blacks are a little less tight. The originals are a little tighter, so depends on how you like your bridge set up. But like I told you guys a million times, I set mine up to where you can take a bend and the bridge just kind of lifts up a little bit, gives me a little more spongy feel on my bends. And this is set up with 9 to 40 strings and perfectly intonated. Block looks good. D-tuners on there. Low friction, three-way. And it's a good guitar. I got this guitar from a guy locally. Met him at the bank, and the block was bridged under here. He had wedged a big piece of wood in there to where to where the bridge wouldn't travel at all. And I thought that was interesting. I think I had seen that like once before for the guys that just don't want to mess around with the Floyd Rose, which I understand. I actually saw a post this morning. I think it was on the Charvel Facebook thing that a guy had bought a made in Japan Charvel SoCal, and he didn't like the bridge and was looking to swap out the nut for a unlocking. Leave it alone, man. Go and get a guitar. If you want a unlocking Floyd, go buy a guitar that has an unlocking Floyd, because those made in Japans, man, those guitars play freaking great. I mean, like I've got the Jakey Lee looking SoCal in there, and it just sounds just fantastic, man. So Mr. Mick, congratulations, dude. I'm excited that I sparked somebody to go buy a guitar. So that's cool. I appreciate that, man. Weathered white, yes, weathered white. I was surprised to get a D tuna on Charvel, being it was a recessed trem. Okay, so again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but beating dead horses is fun in this. Talking about guitars, because these guitars are my orange one too. They just weren't. They're just not. I mean, I guess they look at it as a budget guitar. People that are on a budget or whatever. But you would think that they would. It's bad at the same time, because I mean, I was a John Suhr final guy. I mean, I was a production supervisor and I was on final. So, I was setting guitars up every day, checking everything, kicking it back to my builder, kicking it back to paint, kicking it back to, if it was buff, I would go buff it myself. Or if it was something deep, I would give it back to finish and let them tweak it. And then I'd get the guitar back. And then, usually the buffing guys weren't guitar players, so I get it back, and they would end up buffing the pickup or something. I had to replace the pickup, and it was all start over again, coming back from another part of the shop. So you had to pull stuff sometimes. But my point being is after setting up so many guitars, I'm very snotty about the setup of guitars, and it's probably a curse, but I guess it just is what it is. Because when you're I kind of had an idea how to set up guitars, but I got a lot better. I got polished when I was at working for John, and those guys there were just amazing, fantastic. And I remember and I'm sure I've said this before. I was cutting nuts one day. I think Mike Ponce, who's a master builder, he's got his own master builds, got a signature on the back of headstocks. I was working on the bench, and he goes, "Okay, let's see what you got." And he kept throwing stuff at me and saying, "Okay, do this, do that, do this." And he came over and started, I had to cut nuts one day. And I had never really cut nuts that much because I was a Floyd Rose guy. And he goes, "Okay." And he kept rolling these transfer cases on, dollies, like over to me. And I'm looking around, and I got all these cases, but I'm like, "Oh my God, man." I go, "I got to cut all these nuts." He goes, "Got to do something 100 times to get it right." And I was like, "Oh, wow." So 100 times to cut nuts. And then, I was I didn't have a problem with sitars. I didn't have a problem with, stuff like that. But back to, again, getting sidetracked. I just wanted to come out with you guys to hang out. I want to see how many people I could get in. So I just wanted to hang out and talk about guitar stuff because I woke up inspired this morning on my guitar and music and everything else, which I'm going to get to something else here in a second, which is my main reason for coming on today. The setup of these guitars, Mr. Mick, congratulations. If you got a Charvel that you were able to put the detune on it, the majority of the people that are emailing me about these guitars specifically is the bridge is sunk into the trem cavity and you can't fit anything on it. So what you have to do is you have to change the neck angle. Okay, there's a million different ways to do it. You can buy those shims from Stu Back. If you don't want to do anything, you could put a disappearing shim in there. It was what we did a lot at Sir. You could change the neck angle, which I've done demos on the Wolfgang. You can do a lot of different things, to get that neck angle right to where your bridge comes up. I had somebody text me the other day or email me the other day and said, "Hey man, thanks for doing the video. Now I know where my bridge has to sit." Your bridge can sit anywhere you want it to. I like it sitting flush to the body because it just looks uniform for me. And I know that I'm going to be blocking the bridge to where I don't have any pullback travel. That's just the way that I like my guitar set up. So if you want pullback travel, put a little more neck angle on it, so it sits a little higher, and it's all about dialing it into the way that you want it and what works for you, which takes me back to, if you're going to a shop to where they're not letting you play your guitar before you take delivery of it and saying, "Hey, is that good?" The problem is they don't want you to they don't want to hear you say, "No, it's not good," because maybe they didn't listen when you dropped off and say, "Hey man, I want the bridge to ride a little higher so I have more room for pullback or whatever it is you're doing." But yeah, neck angles, everything on these. And I've seen several of these now, and it's all the same thing. The bridges are sunk into the cavity, and they should be paying attention to the neck angle on the guitar because it's just not going to set up right. And come on, who's going to buy? I mean, what is a percentage? I would like to know what the percentage is of guys buying these and putting a detune on them. I'd say it's probably 50-50. I think 50-50 is probably a good number for people putting detuners on these because all of us Charvel guys are all pretty much Van Halen, D Martini, George Lynch guys, and we all want and we all want to have the ability to do the detune them, which is funny because we were at just thinking about a Rat show. We were out here in Phoenix. I came out to Phoenix. I was living in California. I was still in the military, and I came out to see one of the Jizzy Pearl shows, and Warren was backstage, and my buddy looked at him, and we went backstage because we got really tight with Warren and with Blotzer during that tour. And somehow we ended up backstage. We were just sitting there talking to Warren, and my buddy said to Warren, he said, "Hey, why don't you use a detuna?" And he goes, "What? I don't even know what that is." And he goes, "Yeah, man, that'd be cool if you put one of those on your guitar." And then Warren seemed kind of confused about what it was and everything. And then we just kind of dropped it. But Warren, he does it old school. He just, fine tuner all the way down, get it to, whatever he's tuning standard to. And then if he wants to drop it, he can drop the low E fine tuner down, and that takes him to his D. So, I thought that was funny when he seemed confused when we were talking about DT. He goes, "What is it? What does it do?" And it was just pretty funny. So, hey, Robbie's in the chat. What's up, bro? How you doing, buddy? Robbie's my buddy. Performance is superior to Fender. Absolutely. I think so too. Well, Kenny worked for Performance. Kenny was Fender's guy for years for pickups. So, and then Kenny branched off and started started Performance guitar. And there was something about the PG-10. He's told me so. Prince used the PG-10s in his telly. So when you watch the Prince shows, or when you watch Prince with his famous telly, those are PG-10s. Those are Performance PG-10s in there. Kenny said that he had that guitar in his shop many times. So Performance is just when I go in there, I can sit there for hours and just talk to those guys. Between Kenny and Yasu, it's always a pleasure to see those guys, and they're always so nice and just always smiling and cool. And if you ever get a chance to go to Performance Guitars Hollywood, if you're out in California, I highly recommend at least stop by. and pay your respects, because those guys have really built some freaking fantastic guitars. And yeah, just good, just really good guys. I go there every time I go out. Problem is sometimes I won't go out because I know if I go, I'm going to spend money. Hey, give me a couple blocks. Hey, give me a couple PG10s. Hey, I actually had somebody email me about the PG50. The PG50 is the humbucker for performance. If you're looking for a not so overdriven pickup, the PG50 will be great. The I had a PG50 in a guitar that they had built for me years ago that I sold, which I regret, and I always look on eBay for it, see if somebody's reselling it. But they put a PG50 in it. It didn't quite cut it for me with regards to the overdrive that I like. So there, yes, the PG50 and the PG10. PG50 really wasn't cutting it for me, so I pulled it. I still have it, but the PG50 just wasn't cutting it for me. So Robbie, I agree. Performance is a superior to Fender, Charvel, and everything else. Mr. Mick says yes. Apparently, I answered a question, or I was talking about that. So, congratulations on getting a D tuner on that guitar. That's a big deal. The performance Skull and Blood sounded better than the Charvels to my ears. Thinking it was the Alnico 5. Yes, I do agree with that. And there's another thing you can throw in the mix is it was tuned down. And like we did talk about it over chat or whatever it is that we were talking on. But yeah, and Metal Cop's also the guy that told me about the dummy neck in the Round and Round video, that pointed headstock was a dummy neck, which I had never heard that story, but it makes total sense. And he said that he had watched an old interview, and Warren was upset that he had drywall dust in his hair, and he just had drywall dust all over him, and he wasn't too happy about that shoot. So, but yeah, that's a good one. Jimmy Biter, what's up, man? Jimmy Biter, OU812 crew. They did a pop up the other night. I was like, why are these guys live? I think I was at work. Yeah, I think I was at work, and I was like, why are these guys live? And then I started watching it, and then of course I was distracted by something else. But yeah, go check out OU812. Great channel. Always great to sit there and watch those guys talk about gear and talk about watch them play, and pick up some cool licks or whatever. And good guys over there. Always enjoy talking to them. Well, I like throwing everybody off, Darren. That's my D Martini buddy, Darren. Morning 40. Morning, sir. Surprised to see you on. Yeah, I got to work today. So I was just kind of sitting around, and I looked at my better half and said, man, I think I'm going to go on. She goes, you should. And I said, I think I'm going to. I'm a creature of habit. After 23 years in the military, everything has to be as it is. And I do my routine, and my routine is my routine. But hopefully one day I'll get out of that, but don't count on it. Everything's got to be perfect, which somebody really threw me a curveball years ago. I wish I knew who told me this, but it really threw me a curveball because I was tweaked for days about it. Try to be a perfectionist on everything and do what's right. And, grew up with my, stepdad telling me all the time, hey, a job worth doing is a job worth doing well, and all that stuff that that you have your mentors telling you and stuff. But I remember I've gone through my whole life, like, trying to do things right, and, do scheduling and everything perfect and be on time and 15 minutes early and blah, blah, blah. And then you think you're controlling everything. And then one day somebody told me that control was an illusion. And I sat there for a minute going, wow, that kind of sucks. But control is an illusion. You have control over nothing. There's one thing, in my opinion, running this, and it's not me. Does the wood block make it quieter than the metal trem blocks when it hits the brass block? Good question, sir. So on the FU tone stuff, I showed the other night. I could show it, but I got this guitar sitting on me, and it feels really good right now. On the FU tones with the trem blocks, it's a screw that comes out and it rests against the metal. So metal to metal is going to be louder than metal to wood, So what he does is he puts a piece of tape on the back of the block, and that kind of quiets it down a little bit. I would have to measure the sound, and I don't know if I even have a tool to do that. But I will tell you that I don't hear anything with regards to, other than it's sounding as if the block is sitting straight against the body, which I'm cool with. because that's a direction for me to know when my guitar, there's a sound that that I have in my memory that I know when it's hitting, if it's sitting right, and if I've set it up correctly to my liking. But so does the wood block make it quieter? I would think it would, because it's not metal to metal, it's wood to metal, or wood to, wood to brass or whatever. But I think that I've never had a problem with it being loud. The only problem I have with being loud is I remember one time I was in a rush and I was going to a gig, and I threw my guitar back together, and I had the bridge off, and I took the bridge apart for something, and I put the block back on, and I put it on upside down. And I remember I got to the gig, and I was plugged in, I was playing, and I hit the bar, and the spring popped out. And I remember my singer looked over at me and goes, "What was that?" Like right in the middle of the song. So we continued playing because we had another guitar player, and I went back and grabbed my stuff. And I remember I got it home and I pulled the back plate off, and it was just all like a rookie mistake. It's just so funny. Stuff you remember. Stupid. Uh, Donald Young says, "Awesome guitar. Hope, thanks, man. Appreciate it." Probably talking about this one. This is hey, man, you could buy these and just tweak them, and they're great guitars. They're made in Mexico's, but you're going to have to tweak it. I mean, chances are of this coming the way exactly how you want it is very slim that it's going to go down the way you want it to. But freezing it was a good idea because it threw some checking in there, which made it look even cooler. And everything's set up already. I mean, the geometry's there, everything's right. It's going to intonate, CNC. It's going to, it's in, they've done it for long enough now to where they got it dialed in and everything's going to be right, so that's a cool guitar. I like this guitar. It's cool. I'll be leaving this one alone. Metal Cop said I had a guitar blocked with a piece of metal because there was the right width. It sounded fine, but I didn't like the clunk it made when the Floyd Rose block touched it, so I swapped it for wood. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So, and I don't want to bag on, I don't want to bag on the whole, guitar block thing, and I surely don't want to bag on anybody that is in the business because everybody's got their own way of doing things. But I will say that I'll save you some money if you go out and cut a wood block and put it in there, and then you have, you get the joy of sitting at your workbench or whatever and fitting it and make sure it's right, and then once you put it back together, you did it instead of just throwing a piece of metal in there that I don't know if it's going to sound better or not sound as good, but I will tell you, I've been doing wood blocks for years, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I can't believe that Angle wants $75 for that thing. I mean, that's just crazy. But I guess there's something to be said for the availability and the quickness, and you'll get it done quick, and so maybe there's something to be said for that. But you're screwing 4 screws in your guitar. I mean, like, I kind of wrestle with that because if you ever go to take it out, now you got, you can plug them and stuff, but you're always going to see it. Mr. Mick says, I like higher string action, so it's probably why it worked. Maybe. Yeah. What's your action set at? What do you where do you adjust your action? What fret, and what do you adjust it to? Just curious as to what you feel that high action is. What's this? So during concerts, worn guitar is blocked. Yes, absolutely. And if so, how is it blocked? So I think that his is oh man, I think I've got oh man, did I save that? I think I have it. Let me see if I have it here. 1 second. I think I do. I was talking to my son the other night about doing this, doing the, yeah, see if I have it here. FU Tone had, yeah, there we go. Bang. Let me open it this time. And then let me share this. So this is Warren's out. Now this is interesting because we'll go to the other picture too. Present. And hey, these are FU Tone's pictures. They're not mine. FU Tone took these at the gig the other night. That's Warren's. It's direct to the body. So his is direct to the body. I mean, same smell, different taste with a wood block. I'm Four Springs back there. This is what I was talking about the other night when I said I was shocked to see Four Springs and the soldering and how old everything is on that guitar. It's just cool to look. I can sit there. I can sit there for an hour and look at that guitar. It's just cool. It's cool to sit there and just look at that picture. So, but that's interesting though, because if you go to is that blocked? No, it's direct to the body, and that's on the cross swords. So I don't know how this works. I should probably stop screen, and then do me back, and then let me go back to this other picture, and then you see the front, and then share screen again. The thing about that is the bomber is the same way. My bomber is set up the same way as this one. Share screen. Okay, so look at the intonation here. You see how far back those saddles are? So this is very close to the humbucker. So there's a lot more real estate here on this guitar from the pickup to there. If you look on the back, I've got a gap, On Warren's guitar, you have no gap. The bridge is blocked directly to the body, which is great for sustain and and tone purposes. But then this area right here, it's very close to the cavity, so I guess it could be problems. There could be problems there. It looks like. I wonder if I can zoom in on this. I don't know, but I don't think so. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen though. Do you know that? So Warren's is directly to the body, and so that's on the cross swords guitar. So, and again, hats off to FU Tone for thinking cool and taking pictures of that guitar when he had it. I don't know what. Oh, and something else I just noticed. I think that's an FU Tone block. That's an FU Tone block that's in that. That's the L block that he sells. The performance blocks are rounded. Like I've got one out in the garage, but I'm not going to go out and grab it. That's for sure a FU Tone block on that guitar. And he also has, let's see here. Just pull it back up. Share. He also has this shaved down right here to where it gives the springs more travel to where they're not pulling. There was probably, I don't know how long ago that was shaved, but depending on the size of the block put back there, that looks like it's probably a 37 that he has in there. I doubt it's a 42 because looking at how much room he has there in this area right here, there's a lot of room there to the back of the plate. So I'm assuming it's probably a 37 block, which also means that's why they would have shaved this out, because if he had a 42, he wouldn't have had to worry about that, and the springs are going to ride higher in the cavity. So that's probably a 37 block, and then they shave this area right here so that the springs travel, and when he goes down, these springs aren't popping out because they're getting caught on the back of the spring cavity right there. I'm just spitballing. But I'm 90%, 99% sure I'm probably right on that. So, but yeah, Darren, that's for you, buddy. Warren's guitar is blocked, and he spoke about that on an interview I watched here tonight. Or I think it's on the what did I watch that on? I think it's on the Music Sue interview where he says that he only does down travel. He doesn't do backward. Or no, it's on the Charvel Nam show video. He goes, he said, I like floating bridges. They're cool. But especially for rat shows, I go downward travel only. My bridge is blocked to where I only have downward travel. So, so you can, that's that. So that answers that question, I think. And if it doesn't, Darren, just jump back in. What's up, Tim Thomas? How's it going, bro? Appreciate it. Thank you for your service. Retired senior chief. Hey, man, brother, thank you so much for your service. And maybe one day we'll have a cup of coffee in the mess. You never know. So, yeah. I retired in 11. So, retired senior chief here in 2010. Yeah, I retired in 11. So, you and I are probably close in age there. 564 is slow E and 464 is high E. So, okay. So, a little higher on the bass side, and then which makes sense, and lower on the treble side. I am 464s straight across, last fret. 464s, last fret, first fret, fretted. Take the nut out, and then 464s, 364s up here. Which usually, if you take that out, you're back at 464s, or 464s, which was Sir standard, and then I'm at 364s on last fret. So 364s last fret is what I set my stuff at. 464s was Sir standard. So Ryan, what up, bro? Hey, I was just talking about you guys. Your pop up. Watch your pop up for a minute the other night. I couldn't understand where you guys were on, but those pop up shows are cool. So it's when it's nice when you have time to jump in and do stuff like that. So it's cool. Brian C, the coffee drinker. Yeah, hey, there he is. That's the I think that's my the retired corpsman, chief petty officer that I was talking to. He's I believe that's you, I think, right? You had the D Martini or the snakeskin guitar you sent me, and then you had questions about I forgot what it was, but he had some questions for me, but I'm pretty sure that's who that is. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Gregory Miller, what's up, Brian? He's talking to each other. Very nice. Khaki Mafia. Yeah, man. I still wear khakis this day. I get made fun of at work all the time. Mike always wears khakis. Hey, man, once you wear khakis, it's hard to get away from that. The other thing that I wrestle with every day is I wore a uniform for 23 years. So I knew what I was going to wear to work. Now I got to pick what I wear to work, and I hate it. So I could wear the same thing every day and I could care less. But that's because 23 years I did wear the same thing every day. Depending on where I was at. If I was if I was underway, I was wearing the same thing anyway. So that's awesome to actually see real photos of the guitar close up. So so here's the other thing I took about it took away from that, Darren. Look at this. This is what else I took away from this guitar. Pull this back up. I'm going to share it again. Sorry, guys. My bust. Share screen. Look at the finish, how flat it is. Look at the spray. I sat and I blew this up forever. I can't pinch it and bring it in, but if you go to FU Tone's site, you can blow these up and take a look at everything. And I remember looking at the overspray on this and the flatness, like the finish is gone. I really don't understand it because 7 years ago he did the Music Zoo with this guitar, and there's a lot of finish on it, a lot of gloss, and now it's kind of matted out. And I'm wondering if he did it because all you need is some quad zero steel wool and some elbow grease, get that to flat out. I'm wondering if he flattened that finish out because it's very, very flat now. And it probably accentuates all the spray, which is really cool. Yeah, which all the spray here, which is super cool to look at. Chips, chips in the paint. He's got an RTM in that because that's the guitar he's been shooting the video with the RTM in it. I haven't seen him with the Skull and Blood in a while. That bridge looks like he may have replaced the bridge. Looks old, but he may have replaced the fine tuners because those would be all worn out. Maybe FU Tone put the titanium ones on his guitar or something. He may have done that. I don't know. Cool though. Bars all worn out. So freaking cool. I can sit there and look at that picture for hours. Hours. Morning, sir. Haven't seen you in the chat before. I won't say your name because I don't want to mess it up. But if you want to phonetically just drop it out there and let me know how to pronounce it, I'd appreciate that. I installed new Floyd Rose to my Charvel. SoCal strings feel so stiff. New Floyd Rose to my Charvel. SoCal strings feel stiff. I used regular 9 strings. Okay, so spring tension. Mess around with your string tension. Did that just pop? Uh-oh. Something's bound up in the neck pocket. I have to let that sit, and I'll hit it again tonight when I get home, see if it does it again. I install a new Floyd Rose to my Charvel. Okay, is the Floyd Rose so I could help you with this. Is it a Floyd Rose 1000 to an original? If it is, please comment. And I use regular 9 to 42. I don't know what's going on. It's your string tension. So you're going if you back off on your string tension a little bit, the strings will get a little more spongy, and you'll probably get back to what you're looking for. If you go, I'm telling you, there's something on the geometry of the Floyd Rose 1000 to where you go to an original, it changes everything. The entire guitar plays better. Everything is something changes. And one thing that surely changes is the geometry, the highness of the 1000 versus the original, which the saddles aren't as tall and the block isn't as tall. I'm not a mathematician, but there's something there that messes it up to where it throws the entire guitar off. So you have to go through and do a full setup again. But I'm telling you that check your string tension, and I'm sure that you're going to find your differences there. Hey Doc, what's up? Nice to see Navy guys in here. I miss it, man. I miss the camaraderie. I miss the friendships. I miss all that stuff. But what's funny is I really don't talk to many of my Navy friends anymore. It seems like I kind of got away from it. I don't know. It's weird. Life is weird. But I surely made some really good friends and really good people and a lot of good mentors. And if I wouldn't have had those people, I probably wouldn't have the brain head that I have, because people, getting hard knocks. Hard knocks is what we got, but you only do it once. These days, you try to counsel people and tell them, "Hey, man, you probably shouldn't do that," and they go and do it again. So I'd rather take the hard knock, make the mistake once, and say, "You know what? I'm probably not going to do that again because I didn't enjoy it." And yeah. So Brian C, I love your bumble painting videos. Brian Buckles, what's up? Coming in Phoenix. Brian's in Phoenix with me. Love your bumble painting videos. I'll go check that out, Brian. That's cool. Darren, can't wait to listen to John about Warren's setup. So hey, I've figured out how I'm going to do this, and I have a plan. But you guys have to have your questions together. I'm not going to focus on as much of the questions of Warren stuff, of George's stuff, of Nuno stuff. You guys can ask those questions. I have more questions related to him, because I'm fantasized about having that job and what his day to day is. How many, does he change his strings out every day? On who changes their strings every time? Who doesn't? I never changed my strings every gig. It was like every third gig or something, because I don't like new strings. I'm not a fan of new strings. So it's going to be interesting to talk about that kind of stuff. But please have your questions ready. And if you don't know, Tuesday I'm going to have John Thayer on, and he's Warren's guitar tech for this tour. So Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific. And it's going to be a great show, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Kind of nervous about it because, guy's kind of a heavy, so hopefully I don't goof it up. Clifford, doesn't the brass trem block had to be drilled offset in order to come tight with the body like that? Not necessarily. It depends on the location of where the bridge was put. So I think that's a lot of work. And to be honest with you, I think that answer would be no. I think it's where the post positions are drilled, and that's what determines how the block is going to ride on the body. Now that guitar was surely upgraded. It probably didn't come with a brass block. The original cross swords probably came with a steel block on the Floyd, and he probably didn't have to worry about it. And then when they put the brass block on, it ate up the rest of that real estate going up. It ate up the rest of it, and it went directly to the body. So I would say it's more where the trem posts are mounted, where the holes were drilled for the trem post versus where, because again, okay, let's take a look here. So if I'm looking, this wouldn't be a good example, but let's here, I'll bring it back again. I'll bring this picture back again. So you guys will see what I'm talking about here. It's where let me take you off, Clifford. It's this area right here. You can see how this starts to turn, and then the back of the bridge is riding right against the bottom. So that bottom's probably right there. So if you look at this guitar head on, you wouldn't see that there's a gap there because it's riding right on that edge. But in all honesty, the bridge could have come back some more. The post could have come back more, and that would bring the saddles up that way and probably got the intonation, because this to me here looks suspect, and it's probably riding right on the whale tail on the back of the bridge, that saddle. So, but again, if I go to the bomber, you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's almost the same. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this. You can see where that's riding. If you go back, you can see how far back the saddle is on the bomber, and look how close the posts are to the. How close, man? What am I doing? How you can see there how close the posts are to the pickup. So, but look how far back the saddle is. I mean, that bridge just isn't in the right spot. And these were constant on this era of Charvel. So, the bridge, in my opinion, is just not in the right place. And I put the cover back on it because these are the metal ones, and I just want the guitar to be complete, so I put the covers back on it. But I will say that these bridges are not in the right place. And I tried to put a brass block on this, and I couldn't even accommodate it. You know, I would have had to hog out the. Watch the video. Go watch the D Martini video build. When I got this guitar, I tore it apart, and I had to level and crown. I did a lot to this guitar when I got it, but the bridge is riding really good. I mean, it's good. I did not put a detuner on it. I put a low friction in there. And this is how D Martini's looks today. When Performance did these, it's got the chrome bridge on. It's got a gold saddle on the high E, gold volume knob, black tuners, chrome Floyd string retainer, chrome Floyd nut. This is how Warren's bomber guitar sits today. Because we took him down to Performance, Kenny said instead of doing, black hardware or whatever, he was going to make it look as it sat today. So when you go by the Charvel USAs or whatever, well, they didn't make a Mexico the bomber, but if you go to buy the Charvel USA bomber, it's all black hardware. So when I got this, I swapped everything out to make it as it sits now, because I think it just looks better with chrome. Looks way better with chrome, in my opinion. So, but this one plays good too. I'll put the Charvel back, so I'm getting nervous. Hold on. Okay. I'm surrounded by guitar stands. So Clifford, back to you. Does the trim block have to be drilled offset? No, I don't believe that that's what is going on there. I think that the bridge posts were not in the right, we're not in the same area. Haha, same here, brother. At tons of navy blue shirts. Navy blue with khaki. Why do we do that? I don't know. Navy blue with khaki makes me feel like I'm right back at home again. Going up to take I got my officer the deck letter on USS Jarrett. And so I got to stand the watch as the officer of the deck. And I miss that. I kind of miss it, but sometimes it was kind of hectic having that responsibility. Brian Buckles, what's up, man? Brian Buckles in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a Floyd original. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so your guitar is so much better than it was. What time is it? Okay, I got to get out of here at like 10:55. I got to go to work. The Floyd original, perfect. Your guitar is going to play so much better, buddy. So go on and set them up. If you're going to block the bridge, if you don't want to block the bridge, doesn't matter. If you're going to leave it floating, leave it floating, and then just adjust your string tension. It probably has the Floyd Rose original springs in it, which are the gold looking ones. Those are great springs. Just if everything's too tight for you, then back off on the spring claw, and I think that's going to die it in, and you'll be good to go. There's my boy. That's my son. Go Navy. Nathan did 4 years on USS Boxer, and he's an advanced IT, and now he's a software manager for the I'm going to get this wrong, Bub. I get it wrong every time. He designs and manages the software for the fighter aircraft of the military. So he works at Point Magoo Naval Air Station, and congratulations to my son. He's doing way better than I ever did at the age of 30. So way to go, Bub. Very proud of you. Darren, I was thinking this morning on your Lynch guitars, do you have any, Darren, we got to stop thinking about Lynch and D Martini. What is wrong with us? I was thinking this morning on your Lynch guitars, do you have any of the pickups radically adjusted like he does, higher or lower on the other side? So you got to remember that if you adjust that bridge is not sitting even, it's angled because you have wrap strings. So your bass side is always going to be taller and your treble side is going to be lower it's going to be, adjust correctly. So usually your pickup should look adjusted crooked. It should be higher on the treble side and lower on the bass side. And that's the reasoning for that, because of the wound strings. You got more going on there. And so I set my action at 3/64 on final fret on E and E. And then I check the radius. Sometimes you'll have to use those saddle shims, and to get it dialed in, because no radius is, unless it's CNC. I mean, I've seen radiuses that aren't perfect, so it's not a bad thing. It's just you have to make sure that you dial in, because sometimes you'll take a bend on high E and it feels great, and you'll go over and pivot over to the G and it feels real high. You just can't check on a Floyd Rose. You can't just check one side. You have to check all strings, make sure that they're all reading 3/64, 4/64. And remember, the stronger radius, you could have choking depending on how low you have your action. There's some guitars that I can't put at 3/64, like the Kramers. I can't. They choke. So all my Kramers are adjusted at 4/64, but these Charvels with 16-inch radius, you can squeak by with 3/64 on these. So, yeah, everything should be angled, radically adjusted. I don't know radically, but when I adjust my pickups, once I'm set at 4/64 on last fret, I adjust to 5/64 fretted, 560. Oh, look at, and I even got my Starrett ruler. I got my Starrett ruler today. So I'll adjust last fret and I'll check, and I'm at 5/64, and this will be at 4/64. Measure each side of the pole. And 5/64 on bass, 4/64 on treble, and there's RTM too. So that's the RTM in this one. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Pickup shouldn't be even across. Now on the Charvels, on the EVHs, they are even across. They're at 5/64. With last fret fretted, the pickup is mounted even side to side, and I just leave them because they don't sound bad. But that's why I like pickup rings, and I like the ability to adjust, because sometimes you'll be playing a guitar and say, man, this guitar doesn't sound that great. And you just sit there and take little quarter turns or half turns on each side, and you can dial it in. Nothing's perfect. Every measurement that I give, it's a starting point. It's not the end game. So you can adjust something and say, okay, well, that puts me in the area of, I've adjusted the Kramers at 3/64 before and go, oh my God, this action feels so good. And I go to take a bend and it chokes. And I'm like, oh man. So then you have to check, make sure you don't have any high frets, make sure you don't check all that. If all that's good, you got your action too low. You got to bring your action up a little bit. But on the Kramers, they feel like they feel the higher, a little bit higher action feels better anyways to me. It puts a little bit more distance between the fret and the strings to where you can get your finger under there and really take a good bend, you know? So I don't like super low action. I have a BC Rich that had a 15-inch radius, I think it was, straight. It was just a 15. I put a R10 nut on it and I couldn't even get under the strings. The action was too low. So, again, this is a starting point for all you guys. I give you that stuff, and remember, it's just a starting point. To figure it out. So string change was my question too. Yeah. So don't be taking my questions, man. Don't be taking my questions. You have to come up with your own. But I've got a list. I actually sat at work yesterday. Don't tell my boss. Sitting there coming up with questions going, oh yeah, that's a good one. And I threw it in my list. My son gave me a really good one. And I go, oh my God, dude, that's a really good one. So I'm going to throw that one in there for sure. See, Wayne McConnell, good morning, sir. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Just to figure I'd jump in and see what's doing with you guys. Had some time to kill this morning. Okay, it's back. A new German-made Lockmeister. I've heard those are great. Randy Price told me those are really good. I haven't messed with one. It's basically a Floyd Rose original. Yes, it is. Strings feel slinky, but it's hard bending notes. Also, do you shim your Floyd Rose match? Yes, I spoke about that. I do the individual. I like the individual saddle shims. You can see them on a Black Floyd. I don't care. I should probably sit up. You can't even see me. I'm just sitting here chilling. Do I shim the Floyd Rose? Yes, I do. I enjoy shimming the saddles because for me personally, on a black Floyd, you will see the shims, but that just means that you're paying attention and you're getting the guitar set up to its prime playability. If having those shims under there, when I see those shims, I say to myself and say, somebody took the time to set that guitar up correctly and not just leaving it and and not checking the string height off each saddle individually. Somebody put the time into it to dial it in, and that's a good thing. So yes, I do match. I do match the saddle shims on my Floyd Roses to match the 12. 12 doesn't matter, but it does match the 16-inch radius at the final fret. So 12-inch matters at the nut, which is why they do the R3. Because the R4 is a 10, which is what we use at Sir. 10-inch radius at Sir. Can you also testify that a chrome Floyd sounds brighter than a black? Ah, man, I don't know. I don't really get into that stuff, man. That's just kind of, I don't know. I'll leave that for the super geeks. I like chrome better. I think chrome looks better. But on some guitars, black looks better, I don't know. Somebody, I couldn't tell if they were scolding me or if they were okay with what I had said, but somebody had in my Skull and Blood video said that putting a plastic knob on the Skull and Blood you shouldn't do that because it's a USA guitar and the knob's 10 cents. And hey man, that's what Warren had on the Skull and Blood original. That's why I put that on there. Skull and Blood original had a Fender knob on it, plastic knob. So that's why I put that on there. I just like getting as stupid as possible and as geeky as possible to do that. So Darren says, I believe you said you're putting on plastic knobs. Why is that your choice? Plastic knobs on which guitar? Wonder what guitar you're talking about. Putting on plastic knobs. Oh, I think I may have just answered that question on the Skull and Blood because that's what I had. If you look at the pictures of the old Skull and Blood, he never had speed knobs on it. He had the metal knobs. He never had metal knobs on there. It was always a plastic Fender knob. I know what it has now. I don't know. Black, maybe. I don't know. But I'm just going off by the performance and all those had Well, if Kenny really did do the performance as it sits now, the performance came with a fender knob on it, which means that as it sits today, or Warren has a Fender black witch hat knob on the Skull and Blood. So Brian C says, "Thanks for your service, Nate." Yes, Nathan did serve his country. Very proud of him. He's got a great job. Got to run, guys. Thanks for the chat. 40. See you on the next one. Yes. See you guys. See you on Tuesday, guys. Let's see. Let me jump in here real quick and talk about the reason why I kind of came on today. Which I know you guys are all going to say, "Oh yeah, I've seen it. You know, I've heard of them." Blah blah blah. But I just got to throw this out there because I downloaded this song when I heard it, and I jammed it all the way to work last night, and I jammed it all the way home from work last night. Why? I think because it just kind of sounds Van Halen. You guys know this guy, right? I think his name's Jacob Draps, something like that. Killer Van Halen tone, killer Van Halen player, probably one of the best out there in my opinion. He's really good. But make sure you check this guy out if you haven't checked him out. I mean, I think that's his I don't know if it's his brother or if they're I think it may be his brother, but maybe not. And I'm sure you guys know way more about this cat than I do. But he's got this new tune out, and I've got his first album, very Van Halen-ish, very early Van Halen soundish. And if you don't know who this cat is, check him out. He's cool. And I like watching his videos and watching him play and how happy he is. And he's young. And it's cool that he's carrying the torch because these are the guys that are going to continue to carry the torch after we're long gone, you know, that are going to keep putting out cool music like this. So this song, Last Fall, it's a cool Van Halen soundish song. I downloaded it. It's kick ass. And I just recommend you guys take a look at it. I was very impressed with the song. It's cool. Sounds happy. Makes you feel happy. And I liked it. So check them out. And let's jump back in here. But I surely wanted to get that out because that's the reason I came on today. I said, I think I'm going to go on and talk about that Draps kid because he's pretty cool. Cushman, what's up? How's it going, bro? Thanks for being here. Just jumped in real quick, go over, just talk about to everybody about the maybe the Skull and Blood video. I got some good views on that, man. I mean, I don't even know what it's up to right now, but I got some good view time on that video. I was pretty impressed with that. What's it at now? 901. 901 views in 2 days. I'll take it. It's a good one. I think it's ranked number 3 of my videos right now. Yeah, ranked number 3 of 10. So ranked number 3. Also feedback. You guys have feedback on that stuff. You think something sucks? I'm not afraid with hearing that something sucks, just tell me, hey man, do this next time, or could you do this? Or I'm very open to whichever you guys think is cool. Gary said, Mr. Black says, Gary said Chrome Floyd sound brighter. Maybe. I mean, like, that could be Gary Moore. Yeah, I believe that. Gary Moore. I believe that. Do you recommend big fat brass blocks? I like them. I've been doing them for years now. And there's something there. Somebody was talking. I was watching somebody talk. Maybe it was Randy. But Randy said there's something there. I don't know what it is, but there's something there with a big fat brass block. There's something there with it. I agree. 37 is what I usually use, unless I have a lot of real estate there. And then I'll use a 42. I prefer not to use a 42. Usually the reason why I go after brass blocks is to add weight to the guitar. Because some of these guitars now, they're just kind of light. And I like to get it to the 8-pound area. I like the 8-pound. 8-pound is my sweet spot on a guitar. High 7s. So usually I surely added a brass block to the Frankenstein EVH because it was just so light when I got it. So I threw a brass block in it. I put the pickup mounting system in both, or maybe it was just on the bridge. I surely did it on the pickup mounting system on the bridge because those 4 screws they put in those Wolfgang pickups, with the foam under it. God, I hate that. Like, just not my thing. I pull that foam stuff out and I'll put a pickup mounting system in, or I'll put a pickup ring in. If it'll accommodate a pickup ring, I'll just go with a pickup ring like I did on the Charvel Relic. I just put the rings on because they're so much easier to adjust, and it just turns out better. It just turns out way better. So let's see. So yes, do I recommend Fatback? Yeah, maybe you might want to do that on that Floyd, bro. Maybe you might want to just pull that original out and throw a 37 in there. 37 will probably be great for that. 42, you might not be able to put your depending on how you set your neck angle, you may not be, it may not accommodate a 42, but that guitar had a 32 in it. That Charvel, I remember I pulled it out and I was like, man, I talked about that on one of the lives about how they have the bridge sitting so far deep inside the the trem cavity that they're using 32 blocks now, because if they do a 37, it probably is too, you have to adjust those neck angle on those Charvels. You have to, unless you're lucky, like Mr. Mick, I think it was, and you get one that isn't all not set up right. Maybe he got one that was set up right. Congratulations. John DeShane's in the chat. What's up, bro? How you doing? Guitar sounds great. Chops sound great. Cool shirt the other night. That head first shirt's pretty cool. Greasy Monkey. Hey, John. Just talking to each other. Let's see. John, it says, John, I would love to hear your FM3 Turbo preset. Any chance? John, get with Darren. Darren, get with John. Figure that out. Absolutely, he says. There you go, Darren. Absolutely. So you guys can figure that out. All these presets. Who's Brian Buckles is sending me stuff, and I don't even know where to start. Maybe I'll have Brian Buckles over to my house one day, and he can go through it with me and show me how to do all that stuff, because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing with regards to any of that fractal or whatever it's called. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. Not that my stuff sounds bad. I mean, it sounds great to my ear, so that's probably why I don't get away from it. If it sounds good, it is good. Matt's Tube of You says, I put a brass block on my Frankie replica and Charvel San Dimas. Seem to add a touch more resonance to the tone. That would be believable. Big brass block. Just hit up Adam at FU Tone. He'll hook you up. I like Adam's stuff. Adam's got good stuff. Might be a little more pricey, but either way, you're getting good stuff. It's not going to be jacked up. Or sometimes if I get a good price on the Floyd Rose original stuff, I'll go after that. But usually I just buy from Adam. Brian Buckle says, some of my Floyds have the tungsten carbide blocks. Dude, heavy as gold. I have the titanium block in the Joe Perry, which is right there. My Joe Perry Angel video build that I always thought was a cool guitar. When I was a kid, I used to watch that video over and over again. I loved that guitar. And then last year, I decided to just build one during my car guy vacation. I built that one. And it was super heavy. I think a guitar is 10 pounds because it's a maple body. And that guitar turned out really good. But it was so heavy, I put a titanium block in it. Sounds great. Sounds great. And you would think it'd be bright, and you would think that it wouldn't sound good with that maple body. I put a custom 5, Seymour Duncan custom 5 in it. Turned out great. Ryan has my email to John. Ryan has his email. John says, send me an email, Darren. You guys can figure that out. That'd be a fun project for a Saturday. Hopefully you guys aren't working like myself. I'll go to work and deal with nonsense here in a little while. Cushman says, what's up, John? Greasy Monkey, Brian Buckles, aside from the weight, is there a difference in tone between the brass and the tungsten? That's a great question. If you want to jump in, and comment on that, that'd be great. John DeShane says, brother, what's up? Let's see here. Darren says, you don't need a modeler. You sound great, Darren. Appreciate that. I'm playing straight through that iconic. Somebody hit me up the other day and say, send me your settings on your iconic. And I sent them a picture of the settings. I don't change the settings. The only thing I change on that amp is the only thing I change on that, or the only difference or the change I make on those is when I go do my videos, I turn the volume up a little bit, and then everything else stays the same. The funny thing about that amp, though, is when I first got it, I had the gain turned way up, and I was watching Dave Friedman, and Dave Friedman goes on those gain rants about it. I turned the gain down to 5 on that amp, and it dialed everything right in. Dave Friedman's a beast, and he's so cool and so awesome. And I went to the NAMM show, or I was going to the NAMM show this year, but the fires kept it. But it was great father son time going out there. I'd rather hang out with my kid than go to the NAMM show. But I was supposed to go to the NAMM show, and I was kind of looking forward to meeting Dave Friedman because I'd never met him nose to nose. But that'd be a good meet for me. I'd like to meet Dave Friedman because I've just listened to him on so many things, and it's right. So if I don't know, you guys probably like Dave Friedman too. John said, I just use the FM3 for effects. All my tone is coming from the head first. So okay. So it's coming from the head. So there you go. Cushman saying, what up to Greasy Monkey? Cheers, bro. Match 2BU says, I think modelers are smart, especially if you play a lot and tour. I agree. More economical to haul around. I agree. And when you get older, you don't want to be lugging cabinets around. And I saw one the other day that says, went to a gig and took my 412 cabinet and it played that Johnny Cash song, I Hurt Myself Today. I laughed for I laughed for 20 minutes on that one. Listen to that song, I Hurt Myself Today. It's pretty funny. I remember when I was younger, my last gig was probably 2014. So that was 11 years ago, which means I would have been, I don't even know how old I am. 41. I've been 41, 42. And I remember I was having problems then getting that stuff out of the car going, man, this is a young man's game. I'm getting tired of this. And then it all ended anyway. So it doesn't matter. I've got to worry about lugging my cabinets around anymore. And I'm not buying cabinets anymore either. No sense in that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got too many. Cushman, hey brother, good to see you here. Tubes for the win. Yeah, I think so, John. I think you're right. Match 2BU says right. I think you're right, John. Tubes for the win. But I mean, some of those IRs they have tubes. That Jakey Lee has the Jakey Lee has the 12AX7s in it, I think. That sounds good too. I got that dialed in. I need to come on one night and just plug in, ask you guys how it sounds. I'm not going to do it today. I got to go. But I need to plug in, see what you guys think about the tone on the Jakey Lee. Not as good, in my opinion, not as, for me personally, doesn't dial in perfection to the iconic, but it's good. Almost to the point to where I'll just get your guys' take on it. And if you say, I don't know, I could go between the two and run the iconic into the road with a mic with the Shure, run that into and then keep the Jakey Lee straight into the road, the IRJ. I got it dialed in pretty good. I was having a hard time dialing it. I just gave it a little bit more delay and it helped me. So that was interesting the other day. John says the power amp is the power amp that makes all the difference. Okay. Understood. Let's see here. Looks like the chat has dried up, which means that I'm dried up. And it's 10:45. So I think I'm going to go to work. Hope you guys have a great Saturday. Enjoy your Saturday, man. Go out and grab a guitar and mess with it today for me, please. Go out and grab a guitar and mess around with it and find something that you can tweak on it. Do it for me, because I'm going to be sitting at a desk dealing with nonsense. And do it for me today. Go grab a guitar and go tweak it and make it better. And to my friend that I couldn't pronounce his name, buddy, go and email me directly, 40gritguitars at gmail.com if you need any help with that. I'll be looking forward to your email. Tweak the put a brass block on there if you want to. Put some springs on, or check your springs. If you don't like the string tension, get some black FU or FU springs or Floyd Rose springs. Get some of those silent springs. The black ones are good. Those are the only two springs I keep. I do have a set of reds, which are high tension. But if you feel like the tension's a little too tight on the gold springs, go with the black noiseless. They're just a little bit less tension there. And then you can, maybe it'll be better for you with regards to the tension on your bends and stuff. So hope that, I answered your questions on that. Darren says, please do that video. Do that video on what? Let me know which one. I talked about so much stuff in the last, this is just a blur of crap I talked about. Let me know which video you're talking about, Darren. I got to get these videos done because it's starting to get hot. Starting to get hot in the garage. I'm not going to be able to do them no more, man. I'm not doing that this year. I was talking to my better half this morning. My 1 year anniversary of having my channel is coming up. May 29th is my anniversary for 1 year of doing this channel. And I really haven't been that active except for the first like 20 days of having the channel when I was doing videos every day. So I'll probably do a 1 year anniversary show coming up. And but I've really enjoyed doing this with you guys. So yeah, please go and do some cool guitar stuff today. Check out Draps. Check out that tune. Let me know what you guys think about that cat. Man, that kid can play, man. I mean, like, he's got the Van Halen chops down. And he's cool. He's got his own thing going. So let's see. Thanks for coming by, sharing your night. Hey, my pleasure, sir. Thanks for being here, Greg. Appreciate it. Great stream. Thank you, sir. Darren says the amp and pedal. Oh, okay. Write that down. It's cool when you keep a notepad. Okay, so the difference here, you're turning the amp and the IR video. I can do that in here. I don't have to go out in the garage for that. So that might be a good one to do, man. That might be a good video to shoot. See what sounds better. Donald Young, appreciate you emailing me. Oh yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, hey, I email you guys back immediately. I mean, or if I can. If I don't, I got something going on. But I really like being engaged with you guys, and I appreciate you guys being here and checking out my channel. And I really enjoy helping you guys out, and I hope you guys see that, because I really do. I enjoy helping you guys out because, you know, when we were growing up, we didn't have somebody to help us out, so we just played crappy unset up guitars. So, see you guys on Tuesday. I won't. There's no way I'll be on again before Tuesday. So I'll see you guys Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Please be there and invite your friends. Darren put a number on me for how many people he'd like to see in the live chat. And if I get there, there will probably be a special. I'll probably do something special because that's never happened. So if I get to that number, that'd be great. Tell your friends. I mean, you guys all have friends that are D Martini, Lynch, Van Halen guys. Let's get him in here. Let's make John feel welcome. When he gets in here, and he's gonna. I think it's gonna be crazy to get this guy on and have his ear and be able to talk to this cat. It's gonna be cool. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I will see you guys on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Adios, muchachos, and I will see you on the next one.